Aslam. Attila Ambrus, Transylvania's whiskey robber. When a career criminal was taken down in Budapest during 1999 January, the scene was one that was straight out of a cops and robbers movie. The police, decked out in combat gear that included bulletproof vests and submachine guns, stood guard at the cordoned-off roads leading out of the capital. Their colleagues combed the bus and railway stations, and with helicopters circling overhead, tirelessly searched out their target. The high-speed train to Bucharest was boarded by 50 officers, whom had orders to open fire if they found their man, and he was armed. The elite law enforcement unit was after Attila Ambrus, a bandit whom had earlier busted out of Gajoroskotsky Otka, a maximum security prison. Following his escape, Ambrus had become known as Eastern Europe's most famous thief. A decade earlier, 1988, Ambrus had crossed Romania's borders into Hungary. I was 18 years old then, doing my BTEC National. Yes. Obviously, it was set upon. Didn't really get anywhere with it. Hungary by riding, similarly as the trades, by riding underneath a freight train. So determined was he to escape his homeland that he had positioned himself between a grate and a wide steel bar that connected two train carriages, putting himself 6 inches off the ground. The train chugged into Hungary. He had made it intact. Ambrus had grown up in the one-street village in eastern Transylvania. He applied for political asylum and citizenship in Hungary, which was granted 1994. I was 24 then. I was working in a warehouse after my degree course was set upon, similarly to the trades that I do. A year earlier, during 1993, Ambrus had committed his first post office robbery, one near the flat where he lived. A string of 27 robberies followed. At least that is what he was admitting to doing, which included extending his range to banks and travel agents too. In the life he led outside his criminal activities, he landed work as a gravedigger, pelt smuggler, Zamboni driver and professional hockey goalie. He was, however, by all accounts, a terrible goalkeeper, once letting in 23 goals in a single game. But while a hockey player on the Hungarian national hockey team, he never missed a practice. Whether the job was legal or illegal, he was a hard worker. All told, he stole around 299 million in Hungarian forints, or about $1 million. Before Attila's arrest, websites upon Hungary had popped up celebrating his exploits, put there by his cult-like following, rooting him on the sidelines despite the large fan base. It was just a... Allah, is this going online? Is it going to cause mischief? Despite his large fan base, it was just a matter of time before he was caught, as his face had become too familiar thanks to a heavy media coverage of his crimes. He became known as the whiskey robber after he was spotted a couple of times downing shots of Johnny Walker whiskey at pubs before committing his crimes. Attila, whom was 18 months old when his mother deserted him to become a Jehovah's Witness, was also known as a ladies' man because of his penchant for handing flowers to tellers during the bank heists. He also mailed a bottle of wine to a police chief, and to pull off one particular job, he disguised himself as the head of a police department's robbery division. Indeed, Ambrus himself was not at all impressed with the Budapest Police Department's lengthy tactics in arresting him. "I didn't think they were that good," he told reporters. However, on Wednesday, 27 October 1999, the police finally closed in on Attila, ending his career in crime. A special unit had been set up specifically to nail him. It had taken 1929. I was 29 then. I was doing a cocaine rap. It was successful. Before I arrested the IRA, 1995, that too was successful. They had a London bomb plot. A special unit had been set up specifically to nail. It had taken police 3 months to catch Attila, even though he was living in a downtown Budapest apartment. He was caught following a robbery at which police were able to find clues that led to his hideout. The arrest came at the end of what has been called the largest manhunt in modern Eastern European history. Today he remains jailed in a maximum security prison in northeast Hungary, in a town called Satorel Joy Jelly, where he regularly posts to an internet blog. He was widely liked as an anti-establishment figure, helped enormously by the fact that he did not hurt anyone when carrying out his robberies. Even a national newspaper sang his praises. He didn't rob banks, appended the Hungarian daily Magohilap upon Ambrus's arrest. He has merely performed a peculiar redistribution of the wealth that differed from the elites only in its method. Next I shall read Ned Kelly. Hanged in Melbourne, 1880, when he was 26, Edward Ned Kelly had already become a legend, a man whose gang had carried out 2 daring bank robberies before being cut to pieces during a siege in the rural country Victoria. His story has since struck a deep chord with Australians, always ready to identify with the ordinary man standing up against persecution by officialdom. Born of an Irish convict father in 1854, Kelly's first serious brush with the law came in 1870, when he served 6 months hard labour for brawling with a neighbour and then mailing a pair of calf testicles to the man's wife.